I'd like to thank everyone for joining the East Windsor Volunteer Fire Company #1 installation dinner. Ladies, President Sharon Clark can come forward.
Good evening. At this time, I'd like to introduce the 2014 auxiliary officers. First Vice President, Debbie Soto, if you come forward, please. Second Vice President, Jill Brink. Treasurer is Rose Melodin. Recording Secretary, Janine Rosenberger. Corresponding Secretary is Debbie Dorfman. And our trustees are Debbie Dorfman, Jennifer McConville, and Betty Smith. And I would just like to... And I would just like to send our well wishes to Anita Brink, who unfortunately couldn't be here this evening because she's under the weather. So I just wanted to send her our good thoughts.
If you would raise your right hands, please, and repeat after me. I state your full name. Hereby promise under an oath that I will be a faithful and state your position and rank of the East Windsor Volunteer Fire Company #1 Auxiliary. And give of my time and ability to work for the benefit of the company. So help me God. Congratulations and thank you very much.
Deputy Chief Jim McCann, Assistant Chief Carl Dye, Captain Josh McCurran, Lieutenant Gerald Laughlin, and Lieutenant Mikey Golubieski. Fire Police Captain Ken Brink, Fire Police Lieutenant Marvin Lesser, and Fire Police Lieutenant Jack Israel.
Raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I, and state your full name, hereby promise under an oath that I will be a faithful, and state your position and rank, of the East Windsor Volunteer Fire Company #1, and give of my time and ability to work for the benefit of the company. So help me God. Congratulations and thank you.
This time I'm going to call up the House officers and trustees. There's a lot of names here, so the line will be long. Vice President John Brooks. Recording Secretary Rob Heisler, Corresponding Secretary Harvey Bailey, Treasurer Chris Rosenberger, Assistant Treasurer Michael Gray, Sergeant at Arms Sherrod. Our trustees are here: John Brooks, Jim McCann, Josh Mathorn, Mike Golubieski, Jack Israel, Carl Dye, Ross McCann. Company chaplain going to this back.
Okay, for a lineup. Before I do the final set of administering of the oath, I do want to just take a moment and thank all of the members of the Volunteer Fire Company #1 that are here tonight, as well as all of their families and friends. And we do say this regularly, I say it regularly, and this is really a time I get to say it to more people at the same time. But we do recognize the tremendous dedication that you put into the job. It's volunteer, and you disrupted from your lives throughout the week, the weekend, the evenings, whenever there's a call that you have to go out to answer. And we recognize what a tremendous sacrifice and really imposition that is on your lives, on your family, on your friends, and on the other things that you enjoy doing. You do it because you love it, and we understand that as well. But there's an awful lot of time that you put into the training, the equipment maintenance, the building maintenance, as well as answering calls and doing other community events. And we do recognize it, and we really greatly appreciate it. It's really an indispensable service for our community, for our residents, for our businesses, and for all the members of the company that are here tonight. Thank you so much for the great work you do. For the family and friends, thank you for your support and your allowing them to go out and to do that, to do auxiliary. Thank you for the wonderful support that you provide to the company as well. And I also, we have a number of the mutual aid companies here tonight, and I do just want to give a shout out. It's so important that we're out there helping one another, and your help is really tremendously appreciated. And I want to, as mayor, personally add my thank you to that, and hopefully you find us good partners in Fire Family as well. So thank you. Okay, this is the moment. Raise your right hands, please, and repeat after me. I, and state your full name. Hereby promise under an oath that I will be a faithful, and state your position in, it's quick, state your position and rank of the East Windsor Volunteer Fire Company number 1. And give of my time and ability to work for the benefit of the company. So help me God. Congratulations. Thank you.
Okay, just one more thing before we make a break for dinner. In not following the program, I've just added my own little thing. And I just want to take a moment to just talk to you folks about something. I'm just looking down a timeline, and I guess it all started here probably in 1982, from what I can see. I tried to join the company in '91. I got an application from this person, but the person's down. My father-in-law lost it for 4 months, so I actually joined it in '92. So he joined 10 years before me, and since that time, he's been assistant chief, deputy chief, captain, lieutenant, fire chief, on 3 separate occasions for 12 years. I'd like Kevin Brink to please come up to the front. A lot of people don't realize everything that goes into being a chief officer. You give up so much of your family life. You give up so many other things. You're someplace you gotta go, you gotta go. You have meetings probably almost 2 or 3 times a week in some things. And, you know, Kevin has been a great example for me as chief, and I felt it was appropriate. Kevin has been chief for 12 years of this company. That's longer than anybody else in the company. Considering that he's been in the company for 30 years, 30 plus years, I mean, that's quite an accomplishment. So, Kevin, I'd like to present you with this. This represents your life cycle in the fire department. Towards the bottom, it's when you first enter. And then as you progress, you get different tools and different ranks, and all the way up in the top is when you're chief. And this is actually a chief's bugle back in the day, this is what they used to give the orders to the men and women who were out there. So, you know, for the person who has been our chief for so very, very many years, I feel it's completely appropriate to show him our appreciation for everything he's done for the fire company and present him with this award.
Just before we get started, I know myself, just from the start of tonight, I'm still kind of speechless. I truly appreciate, everybody knows when I get on my soapbox, I mean how much this place means to me. So receiving that award tonight, you know, I still don't have the words that are functioning in my head to come out my mouth right now, but on behalf of myself, I'm truly appreciative of that award. And I thank everybody from the bottom of my heart, because what this fire department means to me. And this is my favorite thing, when we give out these awards. I enjoy this more than going to a fire call, you know, because the amount of time that everybody puts in, the amount of things that we do in the firehouse, you know, and we are truly family. You know, so to be able to give out these awards, there's nothing I enjoy more, you know, because every member deserves everything that they get, and then some, you know. So, on behalf of myself, again, I truly appreciate that award tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. We're going to start off with our service pins and awards. All right, and we're going to have a couple very special ones that I'm glad I'm going to be able to be up here, you know, as the outgoing chief, to be able to still give these awards. Because they do mean a lot. As much to me as that award I got, we'll be handing these other two awards out later. But for 1 year of service, if I could have Christian Osorio and Kyle Nellidan. Once everybody completes 1 year of service, we give them a lapel pin. All right. Congratulations, Kyle. Unfortunately, Christian wasn't able to be here. For 5 years of service, Bill Kerr, Jay Laughlin, and Keisha Rouse. All right, for 10 years of service, Chris Rosenberger and Phil Sheridan. As I said, I've, you know, taken a lot of pleasure of, you know, being a member here for a little bit. And with the exception of these two fellas that we're going to call up for these next awards, I've seen everybody come and plenty go. And many good ones prosper into the ranks and become chief and go on through. But our next two awards are for 35 years of service. If I could have Ken Brink, my father, and John Brooks, a dear friend, come on up here. 35 years of service. I mean, that's amazing. Congratulations, Bob. At 35 years, they get to pick their own award. We're not done yet, but let's do the picture. Don't go nowhere, fellas. Like I said, I'm in awe of this too. 35 years, you know, of what has gone on in 35 years, and our fire department to progress to where it is. I can remember coming in, and actually I'll go back even before I was a member. You know, I would come and hang out down at the firehouse as a kid. You know, my father would go up there, my grandfather used to run the bar in the club, and I'd go out down there before I was a member and hang out, and, you know, it was awesome, you know. And then finally when I turned 16, I got to, you know, become a member, you know, and it was fantastic. And I can remember hanging out in the firehouse as a junior member. You know, our current meeting room, just so everybody has this in perspective, was where we hung out. You know, it was carpeted, yellow paint, you know, the whole thing, the whole works. The TV was in there, and I hung out there a lot, and my friend Todd would come pick me up, and every night, my man John was always down. Him and actually is in his wife's door. And yeah, you know, I used to say in my mind, you know, John was, you know, he was a lieutenant. I used to be down there hanging out, and, you know, we'd get on the fire truck and go to them calls, and I remember this one call. He might have even been captain at this point, but it was a snowy day, just like one of these winters we're having now. We were going to Hemlock Court for a working fire, and Mike Alessi was driving the truck. And we started to make that bend right there on Dutch Neck Road, and the truck started going a little sideways. John's hollering at Mike. Mike's like, "You want to take the wheel?" There was a few more words in that, but I can remember many a times that, you know, we'd have a lot of good times. And like I said, we've had plenty of bad times too, don't get me wrong. But like I said, it does me no greater pleasure than to be able to give these guys their awards. You know, my own father for 35 years, John, a very dear friend. I mean, without John, my first house, I don't even know what to say. I mean, he helped me build that, and actually he built it, I helped him. You know, he was the mastermind behind the whole thing. But that's what this place is about. The fire department is about family and what we do for each other. And that's why I said it does me no greater pleasure than to be able to hand these awards out. You know, Chris Rosenberg, you know, 10 years. I came in as father. One of my first years as chief, his father was the president, and I was the chief. I mean, there's so many times that family ties into this place, and it's great to see when someone else's family member comes in. Mike Nelligan, his son, just received his first year award tonight. You know, it's the things like that that keep this place going and what it is, and the amount of people that we have in this room. So fellas, from the bottom of my heart, congratulations on your 35 years and everything you have done for the firehouse and for me personally. Good job, fellas. I know Sharon Clark and the president has something she wants to present, and then we'll continue on.
Just quickly, on behalf of the auxiliary, I would just like to present to Kevin and actually Tony.
Tony and Jay.
And Jay.
Sorry.
On behalf of the auxiliary, I'd just like to present this check to you guys from all of us for all you guys do and all your hard work, and we hope to put it towards something that you guys need. All right. And then I just have one other quick little gift to hand out to someone who has put in 15 years of service to the auxiliary. She has held positions in the as social director. She has also been one of our dear trustees. She has 3 children. She has a full-time job, and she still finds time for us. I don't know how she does this, because I don't even work full-time, and I can't hardly get to the firehouse when I want to. So I just want Eileen to come on up here and accept this award. I'm telling you, she works so hard, and she still finds time to help us out whenever we have our psychic fairs or any of our fundraising events, and it's just great to have gotten to know her personally as well, and I'm very happy to call you one of my good friends. Thank you for everything you do. There you go.
As I said, we have become busier and busier. As I was talking about from years ago, I remember when we broke 100 calls, it was a big deal. And then all of a sudden, it was like 130 calls or 150 calls. Whoa! I mean, these numbers, 514 calls. All right? There's almost not a day that doesn't go by that this fire department isn't called for some type of call for service, whether it be a fire alarm, a carbon monoxide alarm, somebody needing assistance. You know what? And we get calls into the firehouse, the police station, Mercer County Central. Calls for service come in all the time. When nobody knows what to do, they call the fire department. And you know what? We go out there and we give them a great service. 514 fire calls, 48 drills for a total of 562 calls for service last year. Those numbers just astound me. Our number 10 guy, actually, we've had a first, a tie. We have 11 people that are going to get the top 10. All right, and our 12 with our top fire police responder. But we actually had a tie. Austin Pinckney and Kevin Williams, 233 calls. John Brooks, 244. Meanwhile, this is a 35-year life member here. 244 calls. Carl Dye, Jr., 245. Mike Dolambieski, 258. Another life member, Harvey Bailey, 266 calls. Jay Laughlin, 267. Bill Kerr, in the top 5, 268. Rob Peisier, 272. Jim McCann, 279. And the big number 1, that's quite a number, 382. Josh Matorn. And our top fire police responder, 314, Marvin Lesser. Fellas, for everything you guys do, like I said, that's a lot of calls, that's a lot of time. We heard the beginning about, the dinners, the birthday parties, the family events, the family functions, the movies, you name it, that we miss, that we give up, to do this, the passion that everybody has, my hats are off to every one of them. Congratulations, fellas, well deserved. Like I said, that's a lot of calls, fellas. We get busier and busier. And you know what? Our call numbers were up the 2 previous years because of Hurricane Sandy and Irene, but you know what? This year we didn't even have a storm. So, I mean, there's no sites that, and I think we're almost up to 100 calls already this year. That's remarkable. We just keep getting busier and busier. Good job, fellas. Congratulations. It's the one everybody strives for. I know I've been there myself. This is our Fireman of the Year. All right? A lot of things go into this. And not only what happens this past year, but a lot of, what you did to get to this point, in your career in the fire department. a lot of things go into it. The amount of time, the amount of calls, those are always a couple big ones, But it's also what you do, positions that you hold, things that you do, what you bring to the fire department, And this person this year, all right, well, for 2013, all right, this person, he's always there, definitely in the top 10, always there, always coming to calls. Past officer, vice president, has run committees, golf committees, fundraising committees, always see this guy coming down, look at the board, who's responding, and what do you see up there on the board, and when you get back, Bill Kerr. Come on up here. I feel bad for Bill. Bill lives kind of farther out, he lives down actually where I grew up, down in Cranberry Manor, Unfortunately, that's not our first truck spot, but man, when we get back with that truck, there's Bill Kerr waiting and greeting us. Congratulations, Bill, well deserved.
Thank you.
East Windsor Volunteer Fire Company #1, 2013 Fireman of the Year, presented to Bill Kerr. Bill, congratulations, well deserved. If we could have Joe Priganowski from the Knights of Columbus coming up. The Knights of Columbus is very gracious that they also honor our Fireman of the Year.
Town Council, 6284, Knights of Columbus, presents the Firefighter of the Year for 2013 to Bill Carr. This is actually our 45th dinner and installation and awards program. Unfortunately, we had a little trinket that we had ordered. Unfortunately, with all this bad weather that we've been having, it was actually made and sitting in a truck out in the snow. But we had hoped to, every few years when we hit a milestone, we like to put a little something out on the table. We had these little flashlights engraved with, 45 years of service. So the members will have them at the company meeting. Any guests, we will make our best attempt to get them to use also. I'm a little disappointed with that, but unfortunately we have no control over the weather. But we'll do our best to get them out. There was one other, we had a member pass away a few years ago, and as everyone said, how busy and how much time we spend in things. But Carol, if you want to come up here, unfortunately the bell didn't arrive, but we do also have a plaque. It's a beautiful plaque that's going to be added to the fire truck, whichever one that the chief picks for the bell to go on. But it says, the members of the East Windsor Volunteer Fire Company, #1, dedicate this bell in the memory of Joseph C. Genovese, Charter Life member from July 13th, 1969 until March 4th, 2011. So Carol, unfortunately the bell didn't make it here tonight. It is on order. It's a beautiful bell. It's chrome. It's going to have our company patch and logo on it. But hopefully when you come back up the next time, it'll be there and you can come get a picture of it.
Thank you so much.
But for everything that you and Bella have done for the firehouse, well deserved and will be beautiful once we get there. Thank you, everyone. I'll turn it over to
Kevin.
President. Oh.
Stand by. We're in the warm-up mode for the battery. 1, 2.
Okay, like I said, I'll turn it over to the President and Chief for the final remarks.
Thanks, Kevin. I have nothing.
We're getting into the party portion of the dinner. So before we do that, I just want to give a special thanks to, we have a lot of committees in the firehouse that do all different things, golf outings. One of them is the dinner. So I just want to say thanks to Kevin Brink, Jack Israel, Mike Frey, Debbie Thorpe, and Jill Brink Rose Nellinen, myself. And one of our members recently moved to Florida after 45 years, Gary Golod. And even from Florida, he helped us make these pamphlets that everybody has on their table. He did all of this from Florida. And when he came up here, he sat down and he was here for 2 weeks, worked every day on it. So big thanks to Gary also. So let's stand.